What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 6, episode 9. Episode is titled True Colors. Y'all already know what we are here for. Let's get right into it, okay? First things first, Fatima done hit the dough, okay? Because she's sick and tired of Karen trying to come at her man. Okay? She done swung Karen's door open, and she's like, listen, baby, you done played with my man one too many times, and I'm here to make sure you realize that I'm not playing these games with you. Yes, she popped up on Karen at Karen's apartment. So, of course, Karen is like, she got to get up out my house. She walking up in here like she pay rent. Fatima's like, baby, listen, if I did pay rent here, it would look a lot better. And I said, oh, because y'all know all the girls' houses low-key look like a thrift store. Like, and there's no problem with thrifting, but I just feel like if you look at all the apartments on the show, Fatima's place was really nice. Andy's place was nice. And then the rest of the girls is giving thrift store meets home goods, okay? And not in a good way. Nonetheless, so you have Karen calling Fatima all out of her name. You have Fatima, she is standing her ground. She ain't going nowhere. And the other ladies are like, no, Fatima, you should go, or whatever. And then here comes Andy. She's the worst. Because she's talking about some, Fatima, you should go. Because, you know, I'm your boss. Girl, it's after hours. I don't want to hear nothing about you being my boss right about now. And like Fatima told you, girl, that's from 9 to 5. That's the only time you're my boss. So let's go ahead and shut that down. Now, did y'all catch, before Fatima got to say whatever she wanted to say at one point? I'm sorry, I have to laugh. The way Karen pushed the hell out of Andy, did y'all see that part? I had to run it back because I feel like she pushed Andy so hard that Andy probably landed on that damn couch. Like, why did she push her so hard? But next thing you know, Fatima is telling her, like, girl, I'm not about to tell you no more times. You have no more chances trying to come for my man. He don't want you. He's with me. The only thing that's saving you is that baby that's supposed to be in your stomach. And honestly, y'all, I don't think that there's a baby. I don't. I feel like Karen's character has gone off the deep end. She's in delusional land. And I don't know if she's ever going to come back to reality. Now, baby, this is where things got real shady for me. And I enjoyed it. Because Karen's response to all of this was... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Fatima first said, basically, we don't know who your baby daddy is. So then Karen tried to hit her with, well, girl, don't you be messing around with your co-workers? She said, no, that's your homegirl Andy right there. Or is that what y'all do? And I said, oh, baby, call them all out. Because technically, they do. Like, we only know that Fatima hooked up with Hayden back in the day or whatever, and he was thirsty for her. However, Andy hooked up with Robin as well as Paris. They both worked there. And then you have Danny. She hooked up with Q, who works at the airport. And then Sabrina hooked up with, dang, I was about to say his real name. But she hooked up with Jacoby, y'all. So I said, oh, Fatima, I think you might be onto something, girl. They all be hooking up with their co-workers. I feel like the only person who does it is Karen, because if anything, she has co-workers that are guys, they're probably gay. So, yeah. Fatima got you on that, boo. So next thing you know, you already know Zach is going to show up or whatever because he got to come get his girl. And he's telling her, like, baby, let's go, let's leave. And here's the thing. According to Fatima, she put it on Zach so that way he was supposed to sleep through the night and she was supposed to pop up on Karen. And I'm like, well, girl, your plan didn't really work that well because he's here. But nonetheless, I'm glad that he's here so that way, you know, you can go ahead and ride off in the sunset with your man. But here's the problem. Here we go with Karen again. She continuously is disrespectful to Fatima in a very demeaning way. Like, why are you calling her all these bitches? Like, why is that coming out of your mouth so much right now? Like, it's out of control. So she calls her out of her name yet again or whatever. And what annoys me is that you have the girls, especially Sabrina, like, Zach, you need to go ahead and take her home. You need to take Fatima home. And I'm just like, you're telling him to take her home as if she's like had too many drinks at the bar. No, these people need to go ahead and settle this once and for all. I don't know, maybe Zach in this scene should have been like, Karen, I already talked to you about this. I'm with her. I don't want you. So this way everybody in the room can hear me say this and there's no confusion. I don't want you. Now that's the scene that we should have got. But that ain't what we got, y'all. And if they bring up stress on the baby one more time, y'all, I'm going to scream. Because like I said, there ain't no damn baby. Also, girl, you brought this stress to your door yourself. Because Karen, you are the same one who decided to leave the door open as if you are a member of Silk Sonic. And listen, Zach ain't nobody's Bruno Mars or Anderson .Paak, so he don't need to be coming through your door. Now, this is what really took it up a level for me, y'all. Because the girls are going back and forth, of course, like they've been doing this whole time. And Karen is like, he's the father of my baby. So she go get this damn envelope or whatever, smashes it into Zach's chest, talking about for him to read this damn paper. Ma'am, you doing a lot. Because you could have actually given him some paperwork when y'all were at that diner that you were so proud to be at. Because that's where he took you on your second date. Yeah, you could have gave him some paperwork then, because he questioned you and said, yeah, because I don't even know if this baby is yours. Your ass reached down to grab your purse because you was upset that he even questioned it. Yeah, because you ain't got no baby no more, girl. And out of all the most unnecessary characters to show up, of course, Aaron comes. And I'm like, are y'all going to bring in Calvin and Maurice and anybody else who don't need to be here? But no, they didn't come, but we stuck here with Aaron. So he comes into me, what's going on? And Danny is like, you see what's going on. Clearly foolishness. And the first thing he does is look over to Zach and is like, yeah, Zach, I think it's time for you to go. You don't even know what's going on in this situation and how wrong Karen is at this moment. Because honestly, Karen brought all of this on herself. Why are you coming at Zach though? Because you literally see him trying to calm Fatima down and trying to get her out the door. So why are you coming at Zach? I'm with Zach on this. Aaron, don't say a word to me. There's nothing for us to talk about. Like, it's so annoying to me how many times we have seen Aaron try to initiate a conversation with Zach, because it's never the other way around. Zach will look the other way. Zach will twiddle his thumbs. Zach is ignoring Aaron at all costs, but Aaron is always the first one to say anything to Zach. So again, Zach is trying to get Fatima to leave. Baby girl ain't moving. I'm kind of like, Tyler, I kind of wish you would have wrote something there. Like, why Fatima is just standing there. She could have been saying something or something. I don't know. So this whole time, the envelope that Karen tried to, push upon Zach is on the floor. So Fatima's like, pick it up. Pick up the paper. Pick it up. And he said he ain't picking it up. So, of course, now this frustrates Karen because she's like, why you don't want to pick it up? Now tell her how much you love me, Zach. I said, no, how we get here? Karen, how did we get here? Girl, you going out bad. And this is where I really feel like Karen was in her delusional bag, y'all. Because her next line was like, oh, and tell her about the coffee shop, Zach, and how hard you were under the table, Zach. And I'm just like, ma'am, you never even looked underneath the table. What are you talking about? And then the fact that she has it in her mind that the reason why he brought her there was because that was the same coffee shop that they went on their second date. Like, they had their second date there. Girl, you're the only one who knew that because he damn sure didn't remember nothing you was talking about. He ain't remember nothing about that second date. You had to tell him what happened. And then for her to blurt out, yeah, and tell her how we effed in the bathroom. Ma'am, whose bathroom? I'm like, what scene was that? We didn't get that. Oh, it's because it happened 3 years ago when they were dating. Tyler, get Karen off my screen. Get Karen off my screen. Because now Karen is batshit crazy. Like, at this point, I'm like, these girls, now y'all are hearing what is coming out of the situation. The same way y'all had that intervention with Danny, y'all need to have an intervention with Karen because her delusions are out of control. Now, I'm ready for the girls to tussle, but that still ain't happened. So, of course, they're going back and forth yet again. And at some point, Karen yells at again, just take the paper or whatever to see that you the father. Y'all, I was Danny, Danny was me. When she slid that leg over and tried to reach for the paperwork, because I'm like, I'm sick of this. Somebody gonna find out who the daddy is because we're tired. We're tired of this whole run around because Karen and her emotions and her feelings don't want to say who the baby daddy is. Girl, no. We've played your games. We've played your way for long enough. Let's find out who the daddy is. But no, Karen ends up yelling at Danny not to touch the paperwork because he needs to pick it up. He needs to show her that, you know, he's the father of this baby. All of this, right? So Fatima is finally leaving out this house. I'm like, thank God, girl. Just go ahead, go home, get you a good night rest after dealing with Karen and her foolishness. Zach is just like, this is embarrassing. Like, and it is. Because Karen, you did not have to do all of this. You did not have to invite him over. You did not have to act up. Fatima didn't need to show up. Like, this is all a ghetto hot mess, okay? And I usually like ghetto things, but not this. This is ratchet. This is a whole nother level. And again, he's not picking up that paper. So you know this is pissing Karen off even more. And I'm just like, Aaron, I know you sitting there looking like boo-boo the fool because there was a possibility that this was supposed to be your child and she yelling to the top of her lungs that it's Zach baby. So honestly, if anybody should have exited stage left, it should have been you. Because baby, right when Karen was doing all that hooping and hollering and yelling and over here about to have a whole damn conniption because Zach won't pick up a piece of paper, I would have hit that door and said, you know what? I'm out of here. Karen, have a nice life. Because it made no sense to me, y'all, that when Zach finally leaves, you have Karen screaming to the top of her lungs about how, you know, Zach is supposed to be this coward now because he didn't pick up this damn piece of paper. And why was Aaron's line, oh, I guess I must have showed up at the wrong time? Sir, the wrong time? Get out my face with this. Just get off my screen, Aaron. And baby, once this man decided to chime in again talking about some, oh, I don't want to overstep, but you know, you need to calm down, Karen, because you don't want to stress the baby. Again, I'm so tired of him talking about this baby gonna be stressed when Karen keep bringing this on herself. But also, this is where me and Danny saw eye to eye, because one thing about Danny, baby, she do not like no Negro to just pop right on up. She don't like when no man pops up, honestly, Negro or not. Don't just pop up at some woman's house. So she's like, oh, you don't want to overstep, but you decide to come to her house unannounced. That's not overstepping. So after Danny basically checks him about it, he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and head out. And I'm just like, yeah, you should have been heading out. Actually, I don't even know why Aaron is here. The last time we saw Aaron, he was on the phone with old girl trying to figure out if he could go link up with her again. Because remember, Pam said she was going to follow him. Why are you in Karen's face? Why are you here? Why are you still trying to waste time with Karen and she don't want you? Make that make sense. Both of y'all are delusional. He wants Karen and she don't want him. And Karen wants Zach and he don't want her. These two are the most delusional characters that we have on the show. Aaron leaves, right? I'm like, great. Finally, he's out of here. Then it's just the girls. Baby, before Andy could say anything to Karen, she told her to get out. She told her that she needs to leave. Now, all the girls are like, whoa, 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 like, why are you trying to kick her out or whatever? And basically, Karen feels like because Andy is friends with Fatima, and it's very clear that she's friends with her, she needs to leave. She needs to pick a side. And basically, she wants to blame Andy as to why all this foolishness is happening. And I'm like, Karen, how did you get to that conclusion? Because you're talking about Andy, you let her in here and you didn't put her out when I told you to put her out. First of all, if y'all can recall, when Fatima first walked in, Andy's ass was sitting all the way on the other end of the couch. Karen, you were sitting at the end closest to the door. Okay? Then at some point, you made your way further down to Andy or whatever, so that Andy had to hold you back. My point in bringing this up is, why was it Andy's job to try to push Fatima out the door to get her out? Like, I just don't know what you were expecting Andy to do, Karen. And on top of that, you invited that type of energy because you knew that the man that you invited over to come hook up with you, you knew he had a fiance. So you brought that energy on yourself. Don't be trying to deflect and put it on somebody else. This has nothing to do with Andy. So because Karen is so hot, she decides to try to kick all the girls out. Talking about, all y'all need to leave. And Sabrina, she's like, no, we're not leaving you. I say, okay, Tyler, you already wrote this when they did the intervention with Danny. We could have got something else. Because if I was them, I would have left. I would have said, oh, girl, you right. I sure can leave because this is too much drama for my life. And if I was Danny, I would have been like, girl, let me go ahead and get my little purse and head on out the door because I don't need to sit through this drama. I got a hot date with my man. I don't need to be sitting in your apartment. I really don't. That's how we should have ended this. Because I feel like at this point, all the girls need to fall out with Karen. For real, for real. Or somebody need to fall out with Karen. Nonetheless, all these girls are trying to stay at Karen's house so that way they can support her. Karen don't need support. Karen needs a mental facility. Karen needs a therapist, a psychiatrist. She needs some help. So after that, Karen storms off to her room, and Danny is sick of this. She is so sick of Karen and her antics. So she goes ahead, reaches for that paper that was on the floor, and of course Andy is like, don't do it, don't open it. She wants to tell us on her own. Girl, no. We tired of this. Baby, when she opened up that envelope, and then she pulled that little piece of paper out, and she said that it was blank, I said, oh, I would have definitely knocked on Karen's bedroom door and been like, B, I know you lying. I know you out here lying. You mean to tell me you just showed your ass? You over here trying to fight this girl, and on top of that, try to shove it in her face that this man is the child's father that you're carrying? All of this, and there ain't nothing on this paper? Baby, we would have been fighting. I'm sorry. There's no way I can be friends with Karen. No way. So now everybody decides that they're going to leave the apartment, right? Especially Danny, because she fed up. And here's the thing. Why do we have Zach pacing outside? And next thing you know, Aaron comes out of the apartment building and the girls follow. And I'm like, Aaron left a while ago. Why was he still waiting around? That's weird. Like, sir, were you waiting on the girls to leave so you could go back in or what? Because you should have been standing outside arguing with Zach. That's what we should have walked into. This thing should have been Zach and Aaron possibly arguing outside, and then the girls came and broke it up. Because he should have been left. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they try to figure out, Zach, why are you still here? Are you trying to go back upstairs? All this stuff. He's like, no, I'm trying to make sure that Fatima don't circle back when everybody leaves. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's valid. So, of course, we have Aaron basically saying that he's not leaving until Zach leaves and all this stuff, right? But at one point, he tells Zach, I'm a preacher, but I had a life before this, right? And I'm like, now, Aaron, why are you trying to get all big in the chest to argue with Zach? Like, honestly, in this moment, Zach didn't even do anything wrong. So why are you coming at Zach right now? Make it make sense. Like, he really enjoys starting stuff up with Zach. Now, I will say this was very funny and clever what Tyler wrote. The line where the girls are like, oh my gosh, this is so much toxic masculinity or whatever. And Zach is like, well, what you call that in there? Toxic femininity? That line was actually funny. So, a bunch of randomness happens in this scene. Just random conversation. Andy ends up leaving or whatever, basically because she felt like people were going to say that she was a bad friend. Next thing you know, Danny ends up leaving this group because she has her date. I'm like, yes, please go on your date. It's pitch black outside now. What time is it? Did you miss your reservations because you were lollygagging at Karen's house? What's going on? Nonetheless, she leaves, and then you have Sabrina stuck with Aaron and Zach. Now, she's trying to convince Aaron that he needs to leave or whatever. Why did he say, oh, well, I'm going to go back up there? You're going back where? This woman has told you multiple times that she don't want to be bothered with you. She done kicked everybody out of her house. Why do you feel like you are comfortable enough to show up back at her apartment? Aaron is crazy. I'm telling y'all, the delusion is out of this world. So now we have Aaron picking with Zach yet again, talking about so you're the child's father. Why you didn't want to pick up the papers? All of this stuff. And I'm just like, Aaron, please let it rest. We're tired, okay? The night has been long. We're tired. All of us just want to go to bed. You should be the main one who wants to leave this situation, because Karen has made you look like a fool left and right, okay? Because while you're sitting up here trying to chase her down, she is only interested in Zach, so you look stupid. Now, as they start to get, to a heated little debate or whatever, I find it interesting that Zach was like, oh, do I smell alcohol in your breath or something like that? Basically insinuating that Aaron has had a drink or two. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe that's why he tripping and he's on edge, because Aaron is on one, okay? And he's been on one for a while now. So maybe he is back drinking. But I'm just like, nobody else smelled the alcohol on him? How is it that Zach is the only one? Like, all the girls was just standing by him. They probably should have been able to smell that when he first walked in the apartment. But I guess with so much commotion going on, that was on the back of anybody's mind. So, we learned that Fatima got home. Zach finally leaves the situation. Of course, he was being petty with Aaron. They were being petty towards each other. So now you just have Sabrina and Aaron. And she's telling him, like, dude, you're not helping the situation with all these antics that you're doing. So now Sabrina is questioning him, like, wait, did you have a drink? And he's like, I only had one drink. This isn't your business. And she's like, yeah, but you're supposed to be in recovery. Like, you can't be out here drinking. Like, I'm sorry, but Aaron is just bad news. I feel like he has brought so much drama and turmoil into Karen's life. From the ex-wife, his brother-in-law, this new girl who he was saying, like, there's always something. That's one front. The man is an alcoholic. That's another problem. That's number two. Number three, the way he consistently goes at Zach is unnecessary. Also, the fact that he still wants to be with Karen, even though she has told him multiple occasions that she does not want him. Like, I'm sorry, but Aaron has so many red flags. Absolutely way too many for any woman. He need to go focus on himself. So Sabrina basically tells him that he has to leave, because Karen already has enough going on. So he can go ahead and give her his number, and she will text him and let him know how Karen is doing. I said, girl, you weren't better than me, because I would have been like, sir, you need to leave. Karen don't want to be bothered with you, and neither do I. So you need to go ahead and keep it pushing. Okay, Aaron finally leaves. And Sabrina, she goes back into Karen's apartment because it's clear that she wants answers as to why all of this foolishness is happening, right? Ain't no way I would have even walked into Karen's apartment, because why was Karen literally laying on her couch, gun in hand, and her door was wide open? My question is, were you waiting on Fatima to possibly circle back? Like, who are you planning to possibly shoot? Like, that is crazy to me. So you already know we have Sabrina trying to be the voice of reason, but she's also trying to get some understanding with Karen or whatever. Karen don't want to hear nothing. Karen is in her own bubble. She's in her own world. She don't want to hear nothing that Sabrina has to say. She keeps trying to kick her out the house. So, of course, Sabrina starts off by saying how, everybody loves Karen or whatever. And Karen took this to a whole nother level because she's like, who is everybody? Because if Andy shows back up, it seemed like she was going to pop a cap in her behind because she ain't feeling Andy. She's like, Andy wasn't doing nothing and all this stuff. And I'm like, here you go. Still trying to put this on Andy, and it has nothing to do with her. Like, it even got to the point where she was going to possibly call Andy and tell her what she thinks. But Sabrina had to, snatch the phone from her. And she's like, you know what, Karen, you can't be acting like this. Like, you got to worry about the baby. You know what her response was? They ain't worried about the baby. Girl, the baby is your responsibility. Everybody else does not owe you to, be concerned that, oh, well, we can't hurt Karen's feelings because she's pregnant. No, Karen, that's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to be concerned for your child that you are carrying. Now, do I think that she has a baby in the oven? I don't. I really don't at this point. I feel like Tyler, please say that you wrote it, that she actually lost the baby in the fire, so that way we can move on from this. Because this is absolutely ridiculous and out of control. Because according to her, she feels away because Zach took her to the coffee shop, and also because he was at the salon, blah, blah, blah. Baby, she has gotten to the conclusion that this man is gaslighting her. And I'm like, he's gaslighting you? You? No, you just keep bringing things on yourself. Honestly, this episode was very hard to watch because as aggravating as we have said that Karen is, it's just damn, I don't know how her character can ever be redeemed. Because the way she's going down, baby girl is going out bad, okay? Because, the desperation that she has for Zach, the way that she's creating stories in her mind, all the delusions, it's real sad. So, of course, she's trying to kick Sabrina out of her house yet again. Then she says that she's going to lay down, go to sleep. I'm like, okay, fine, great. Y'all, why is Pam here? I'm just like, Tyler, please, can another day go by? Because we've had enough happen in one night. Can we see Danny on her date? Please. So Pam is here or whatever. She's here so that way she can check on Karen. And I'm like, girl, you ain't never pulled up to her house to check on her. Why are you here? Or whatever. So we do see her going back and forth with Sabrina or whatever. She really trying to know what's going on. But she's saying that, she's here to check on Karen. Sabrina is trying to get both of them up out of this house. She's like, if I'm leaving, Pam's leaving, hell, we need to leave together. Now, one thing that I will say is that I don't hate Sabrina for what she's trying to do. I think that Sabrina is trying to get an understanding of her homegirl. She's trying to figure out where Karen is even coming from. But I feel like, girl, this is something that's bigger than you. I know you want to figure it out, but Karen is not making any of this easy for you to get an understanding of what's going on. But let's go ahead and move on. So now we actually move on over to Maurice and Calvin or whatever. So they basically have this discussion, or I guess you could say argument, in their kitchen because Calvin feels like Maurice takes everything as a joke. And then he, of course, compares him to Sabrina, who's very calm, but she's, trying to handle everything. And she's trying to, make the situation better, while Maurice is only focused on revenge. So now Maurice, he feels like Q could have, taken him down. But he didn't have to get Sabrina involved. Sabrina is extremely sweet and kind, and she didn't deserve any of this. Now, that I agree on. Sabrina did not deserve any of this. But then he goes on further to talk about how basically this is going to change Sabrina, how he knows her, and he is still adamant that he wants to have Q murdered. And I'm just like, okay, so we got nowhere with this conversation. Because even though, Calvin is trying to tell you that you need to cool out with all of this murder talk that you're trying to do, you still have it on your mind that that's what you want to move forward with. You want to have Q killed. That's pretty heavy. And then on top of that, I'm really giving Maurice a side eye, because how can you be concerned about Sabrina and say that, she doesn't deserve this with the way that you talk to her and disrespect her? Like, I feel like over the years or seasons, we have definitely heard Maurice disrespect Sabrina. We have. But the way he has disrespected her since he has gotten out of jail, or should I say, since this situation has happened, has been up a notch and completely out of line. So I'm just like, are you going to change your behavior towards her moving forward? Because if you're not, this conversation means nothing. So let's hop back over to the mess. We have Fatima. She's at home pacing the floor, and Zach ends up walking in. And he's just like, Fatima, girl, why'd you even go over there? And she's like basically saying, no, Karen is the one who started this, and I'm just going to be the girl who finishes it. So Zach has to tell Fatima that, she was wrong. She was wrong for showing up to Karen's house, walking in unannounced. He mentions that Karen has a gun. Hell, Fatima carries a gun as well. So Fatima, she goes on to tell Zach how, she's tired and she's so sick of Karen and all of her shenanigans. Karen has come to Fatima with shenanigans left and right. Every time you turn around, she's being disrespectful in some type of way towards Fatima. And I feel like the energy is not mutual, because honestly, the way Karen has disrespected Fatima should have been put hands on her like a long time ago. Baby or no baby. And even on top of that, I feel like Fatima has never, called her out her name or anything like that. She's always tried to be cordial the entire time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she's given Karen so much grace. But Karen keeps testing her. So honestly, it's like, what do you want her to do? Like, there's only so many times that you're going to turn the other way. There's only so many times that you're going to overlook the disrespect. And now when you have Zach talking about I just want to have a happy life with you without Karen interfering. I don't see how you're going to do that when she's supposed to be your child's mother. Because that's what she just went on a whole rant at the house about in her apartment, screaming to the top of the lungs that you was the daddy, remember? And like Fatima said, no, you should have went on ahead and opened up the paperwork. Open up the envelope, see what's going on. And he's like, nah, because she didn't get my DNA. And like Fatima said, well, if she got the preacher man's, then she would definitely know between the two who would be the dad or not. So basically, Zach's reasoning to not opening up the envelope was because he didn't want to, have to admit to all of this foolishness that was going on. But I'm like, doesn't it give you a better sense of clarity knowing that you're the father or not? Because I know that we know that paper was blank, but these two don't know that paper was blank. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that would have blew it up even more if, she would have had that blank piece of paper. I feel like at that point, Fatima probably would have put hands on her. Because it's like, girl, don't be sitting up here yelling in this man's face that he the daddy and all you got is a blank piece of paper. But nonetheless, You have Zach telling her that she was wrong for popping up at Karen's house. She can't be doing that. And what if Karen would have popped up over here? Well, listen, she's already done that. We've seen it. Karen has popped up because she felt like it. Because y'all got history. Remember? Like, honestly, I just want to know, what was Fatima supposed to do with this information, y'all? Like, really put yourself in Fatima's shoes. What was she supposed to do after her man had sat up there, ran to Karen, to make sure she was good because she was supposedly dead, even though now that I think about it, it's crazy to me how Karen really let everybody think that her salon burned down and that she burned in it. Baby girl could have easily picked up her phone and called up any person that showed up for her to be like, hey y'all, my salon caught fire, but I'm all right. I'm good. She didn't do none of that because she wanted a whoa, it's Karen moment. That's first of all. But secondly, you just told her that this woman told you that she was going to leave the door open for you. Please tell me, what was Fatima supposed to do with that information? Because at this point, Karen is testing her left and right. Because let's not forget, this is the same Karen who played on the phone longer than she needed to because Fatima walked in the room. Remember that? Like, I'm not playing this game with Karen because Karen knows exactly what she's doing. So basically, we in that scene with Fatima saying she's going to sleep on the couch and Zach says he's going to watch her like a hawk. Let's go ahead and move on. Here we go with another scene that I don't really care about. It's, of course, Hayden and Gary. So basically, they're on the phone with each other. Hayden says that he's filed the annulment paperwork, but he hasn't told Tamara about it. So now he's asking Gary for advice like, hey, how should I go about this? Gary is like, I'm not about to waste my breath telling you what you should be doing when it comes to you and Tamara, because you're going to do whatever you want to do. So figure that out on your own and let that be that. So Hayden, he actually decides that he's going to have a conversation with Tamara, y'all. He goes in the house and he lets her know that they got married fast. He tells her that he wants an annulment, and she's like, what's that? Because you already know, baby girl ain't too smart up top. And once she finds out what it is, she's like, well, I don't like it. And basically says that he should try to see if this relationship could work. And it's like, girl, be for real right now. You know that y'all are moving too fast, but again, this girl is trying to get him for his money. And I kind of feel like Tyler may switch things up on us, and Tamara and Hayden might actually work out, y'all. I kind of feel like Tamara is actually going to fall for Hayden, and they're going to be in a real relationship. Something about this feels like that. So next thing you know, he's like, well, there's a time limit on getting an annulment, and questions her like, oh, are you mad at me or whatever? And she's like, no, I'm not mad. But according to her, she is moving out in the morning. And I'm just like, girl, when did you move in? When did you bring over boxes? What's going on here? How long y'all been talking? A week? Like, be for real. But yeah, something tells me, y'all, that I feel like Tamara and Hayden, they may actually become like a real couple. You know what I'm saying? But we shall see. Let's go ahead and move on to Danny and Preston, y'all. We finally get them on their date. And I'm like, okay, great. We're going to see them out, having a good time. That's not really what we got. So he's trying to figure out what's going on with Danny because she's really quiet. You can tell she's distant at the table. And she's like, what do you mean what's going on? He's like, well, you've been quiet. You were quiet the whole way here. And she lets him know that, Karen is off the rails. And I'm like, girl, you got that right. So she's like, this is all over Zach. So Preston, he mentions to her how he went to go talk to Zach because he even saw with his own eyes that, Zach was all over Karen and ignoring Fatima. So Danny, she's surprised and shocked that he noticed that. So, of course, this leads to a misunderstanding between Preston and Danny. And I'm like, no. This is not what we want. We've already seen them go back and forth so many times. Can they just have a good night? Please, Tyler. Please. Because at this point, it's looking like Danny is just trying to pick a fight with this man. Like, please let go of the past. Let's let go of Mindy. Let's start fresh. Okay? Like, if you're going to take him back and try to make a relationship work, then we're going to have to stop picking fights. Please. Because number one, as a viewer, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. Like, I really feel like we should have gotten Danny and Preston having a good date. Like, I feel like their relationship, or should I say their conversations, always circle back to the past. And how he didn't do this, he didn't do that, according to Danny. I'm tired of that. But let's go ahead and move on, y'all. We have Sabrina. So she decides to give Andy a call to check in on her because, you know, she saw how Karen was talking to Andy. Now, Andy feels like Karen, you know, she was out of line. She shouldn't have been talking to her like that. And I agree. Karen was definitely wrong because, like I said, what did she expect for Andy to do for her? Like, girl, you got yourself into this mess. So Sabrina, she does agree with Andy. I was kind of shocked. In the moment, I did say to myself, though, as I was watching this, Sabrina need a hobby or something. Because she was like, do you want me to come over? Girl, it's late. It is late at night. No, we don't want you to come over. Like, girl, get you something to do. Because you already know, had this been, you know, a regular Sabrina has to go to work in the morning, she would not be talking about coming over. Like, she would have said, girl, I will check on you later. Or at least say, I'm going to check on you tomorrow. But let's go ahead and move on, you guys. So now we have Gary. He has popped up. And because Andy is irritated with Karen, she just wants to hop on a D. That's all she's here for. And I'm just like, Tyler, this is really what you did with their relationship. As much as I hate Gary and Andy, this whole, oh, I'm only leaning on you because of the D. Like, I'm tired of that being the basis of their conversation. Nonetheless, he don't want to give it to her, okay? He feels like, you know, he is worth more, I guess, than just, you know, sliding the D around all over Andy. So she's like, what's the problem? Like, she's questioning him if he's cheating on her. Now, I feel like we're going to get some answers of him cheating in the future because I've heard whispers of him having some type of things going on. But we'll see in the future. Nonetheless, I'm just like, good night. Please, how did we get here? How are we questioning if Gary is cheating? Girl, the way his thirsty ass is on you every time that he's around or calling you or popping up at your job, why would you even think he's cheating? Because this man is clearly trying to stay with you at all costs, okay? So he's going to leave, but then he tells her that whatever guy she calls won't be able to F her like he does. Because baby girl at one point grabbed her phone and was like, well, I'm about to call somebody. And I'm like, girl, who you calling? Paris? Who else is on the list? Because that's all I got. Because Robin completely evaporated. I don't know where that man is. Nonetheless, her response to that is, yeah, well, they won't be effing her over. And I'm just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So did he screw you over or possibly become a partner? Like, I feel like Tyler completely dropped that storyline. Like, I get it. You completely erased Robin's character. But, like, I remember Andy mentioning, like, oh, I may possibly be a partner. Even though I thought she already did that. Nonetheless, she was supposed to be moving up. So that's why she was really trying to rock with Robin. Like rockin' Robin. But nonetheless, she was trying to rock with Robin so that way she could further her career. So I'm like, so did he screw you over in that way or what? Like, Tyler, these are things that you're dropping the ball on, and I'm kind of more interested in that than this. I'm more interested in finding out if Andy is stuck in a position that she has no growth in, and her trying to finagle her career rather than this bullshit relationship that she got going with Gary. You know what I'm saying? Because before he left, I believe he told her that he seen her true colors by Gary. Like, I was super excited when he decided to go ahead and walk out the door, okay? Because once you walk out that door, don't come back no more. Please let me know if y'all know what that reference was. It's an episode of a 90s, early 2000s TV show. And that line just came to me. Oh my gosh. Nonetheless, y'all, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all, why did we see Maurice go meet up with Mr. FBI and asking if he was the attorney? When was Logan an attorney? What was that? I'm like, why is Maurice here? This is Logan. Logan is just like, yeah, I'm working on the case. And why did Maurice just confess that it was him and Q's idea to rob the bank? And then goes on to say that Sabrina had nothing to do with it. Now, absolutely, she had nothing to do with this. But, sir, so now you're willing to go down with Q? Because I guess you see that's your only way out? What is happening? Like, for real, for real. What is happening with this storyline? I'm tired. I'm drained. Honestly, and Maurice has been acting an ass this entire time since this has happened. So, it's okay if he goes to jail. It really is, because I'm tired of Maurice's character, especially the way he mistreats Sabrina. So if this is his way of letting her off the hook, let's do it. I do love the actor who plays Maurice, but if it's his time to go, it's okay, baby. He can go. And he can round up the rest of them Negroes, and they can go as well. Because I'm sick and tired of him, Gary, Calvin, who else is there? Anybody else who needs to go, they can all go. Like, I want Tyler to shake up season 7. He has to. I know that he's supposed to be bringing on writers. And, baby, we need it. There needs to be a shakeup. I want new men. I want these girls having new challenges in their careers. Something else has got to give. Okay? I mean, the show, I'm rocking with it. I'm watching it. But y'all know what I'm saying? Like, can we switch it up? Y'all, that was the show. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Y'all Team Karen, Team Fatima, what's going on there? Yeah, go ahead and let me know y'all thoughts. I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.